Alright, I'm providing my review. Not that there's any need because there's a ton out there. But if you want my personal opinion, I'm going to provide you with a review of the latest pay-per-view, WWE Hell in a Cell. And I've been watching wrestling for almost 10 years since kind of the middle of the Attitude Era. I started watching in 1999, so I'm pretty aware of the Hell in a Cell concept. And I don't like the way they're using it here, making the entire event just about a Hell in a Cell. I think kind of takes away from the magic of the Hell in a Cell. How it used to be spontaneous, you didn't know when it was coming, and it was a big thing when it did, and the match usually paid off. And now it's kind of like just this, it's for show now. No one really uses the cell anymore. It's gotten to the point where there's no blood. I mean, you know, the cell is just there for people to go, you know, wow, and that's pretty much it. You know, they don't really use it for anything. And before I start off reviewing the actual show, I want to mention how on Raw 6 days before this, they had Cena and Orton go up on the top of the cell, and Cena gave him the whole attitude adjustment thing and whatever. And you know, I knew that this was going to happen because I've read a lot of the feedback of the show, and no one is too happy about it doesn't seem. Except I read Linda's thoughts. She liked it. But anyway, they went up to the top of the cell. They did that spot. Raw ends with Cena on the top of the cell. And here's why this is a bad idea. Because on the free show 6 days before, they go to the top of the cell, and people love seeing that. Even if, at this point, I'll take them going to the top of the cell and just, you know, doing a few punches and kicks and getting off it, just for the show factor of it and how it kind of differs from everything else they do. But they do it on Raw, and then they just don't do it on pay-per-view. They just stay in the cell the entire time. And you have to pay to see the action in the cell, and there's no blood, and it's just basically just regular matches in the cell, and it just totally nullifies the entire concept. But I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get to it. The first match, Undertaker versus CM Punk in Hell in a Cell. Don't ask me why you would start the show with this. I was already kind of put off that they started the show with this instead of, you know, Ziggler or Morrison, or, you know, maybe the tag match could have started off. Even the Triple Threat United States Championship match could have started off. But they started off with this. The match clocks in at an astronomical 10 minutes and 24 seconds for a Hell in a Cell match. If you can think back to the first Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood 97, the Shawn Michaels Undertaker Hell in a Cell match had to be almost, you know, I don't have it in front of me, but maybe almost a half hour. And they went up to the top of the cell. They did a ton of stuff. It was amazing, fantastic match. And it was a fresh concept back then. It was just amazing. And then you've got down to this just not barely SmackDown-worthy regular match, but since the Hell in a Cell's around it, they expect it's worth money to see, and it wasn't. It was an all-right match, but let's be honest, you're forking out $40 for these shows, and they're going to put on something like that. I was really put off by that. Bright spot on the show, John Morrison defeats Dolph Ziggler in a match that was 5 minutes longer than the Taker CM Punk World Title Hell in a Cell match. But I'm not complaining because this match was great. These guys work really well together, and they're two up-and-comers, and I was happy to see that. So that was nice to see. That was a good match, kind of going back into the show. And then we have the disastrous Divas Championship match between Mickie James and Alicia Fox. Just brutal. Just oh my God. I can't. Mickie James is all right. I like Mickie James. She's not anything too phenomenal, but Alicia Fox, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been watching. I haven't been keeping up on Raw, but I'm wondering why the hell they have this match on a show where you have to pay. I mean, I feel like people would want to pay and then see that match on the card and then immediately not buy it. But this match was 5 minutes long. I guess the only bright spot was that Mickie James. Actually, it was Alicia Fox's fault. She didn't need to lift her. Joint botch the DDT, and it really looked like Alicia Fox just broke everything in her body. And that was pretty cool. So, moving on, the tag team match between Jericho and Batista Rey Mysterio. Pretty good match, 13 minutes, so they gave it some time. I don't know, it just worked well. Not a huge Batista fan, and I have never really liked the way they push Mysterio that much, but I do like him as a wrestler, obviously. I don't know how you can't, but anyway, it was a good match, and Big Show and Jericho coming out on top here with the huge punch to the delicate Rey Mysterio at the end, and that, I don't know, just entertaining match, crowd was into it. I liked it. Now, the next match, Orton versus Cena, I like the way it was written, but I just can't buy these Cena facial expressions. I just can't. I don't know. I mean, they worked all right together. It wasn't a bad match. Certainly better than the first Hell in a Cell. I don't even know what they were thinking with that, but it was all right. I was going to say maybe like a 7 out of 10. You know, the chemistry was good. They wrote it good. I just don't think these guys work together all that well. So I really can't. You know, Cena doesn't really know how to work in the ring still after, you know, when he debuted in 2002. So, you know, 7 years he's been on the roster. He still can't work that well. Can't really get anyone emotionally invested except for the kiddies. And it was all right. I mean, Orton won. Cena doesn't really know how to take the boot. I don't know how you can't take a move where you're only instructed to not move. But he still can't. He stiffened up his neck, and then the boot at the end just looked, you know, kind of retarded. And then everyone's complaining about how Cena got up, but he obviously was told to get up. He's not like, you know, sell the boot, and then he just stands up after the match. So, you know, don't hold a fault on that. But 7 out of 10, it wasn't that great. Drew McIntyre, R-Truth, they could have built up more on TV to make me want to see this match a little bit more, but they had a 4-minute match. Which should have been like I don't even know why this is on the card. Whatever. So that's what it was. It was not that bad for a 4-minute match, but it's still a 4-minute match, and you shouldn't have to pay for it. Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger on The Miz. That was a pretty good match, but still not a 7-minute. You know, you build up for a month for a 7-minute match on pay-per-view. No. The DX versus Legacy main event. I don't know why they were having this as the main event, to be honest, when there was 2 world title singles matches, but whatever. They had this. The crowd was semi into it. I think they took too long after Trips went back to grab the bolt cutters. Kind of took the crowd out of it a little bit. He was back there for like 5 minutes. I don't know why it took that long to find bolt cutters, but I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to, you know, kind of build it up like maybe he's not going to come back out, and then he came back out, but it just kind of took the crowd out of it a little bit. Anyway, Shawn gets his ass kicked for like 10 minutes, which he's always good at. He's just like, it's unbelievable how good he sells this stuff, which is, I'm pretty sure, why they had Shawn in there and not Triple H. But anyway, it's just totally anticlimactic. They come back in. They throw Ted DiBiase out, they lock up the cell again, and then, you know, it's Cody Rhodes in there with Shawn and Triple H, and you can pretty much stop watching there, you know, like it's, you know, they got him in there, and then you're pretty much, well, that's pretty much it, and I'm saying pretty much a lot. Anyway, it wasn't that great, I didn't think. I mean, all 3 Hell in a Cells were disappointing, just because the way they build it up every time they have a Hell in a Cell match. They always show old footage and tease the top of the cell, and they never come through with it. And personally, I think this, you know, I'd maybe pay $5 for the show. I feel like 3/4 of it really could have been done on TV and done better with more time. So it was just a little upsetting. Total, like, this is like the worst pay-per-view of the year to me. I mean, the other ones have at least had some surprises, but really no shockers here. You know, Legacy running down to beat up DX before the main event started. You can see coming. They do that every week. I don't know why they do it on pay-per-view. I don't know who the fuck is writing all this shit, but anyway, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Not worthy of $40, not worthy of $20, and certainly not worthy of 10. Maybe a $5 show. If you can get, you know, you can get 8 people together, you've got yourself a pay-per-view, but not worth it, and I'm not looking forward to bragging rights that much either. This whole, I believe it's I don't know what the hell they're doing. Anyway, I'll have a review up of that because I'm just going to start doing these because it's really easier to critique these shows than praise them at this point, and they're all kind of bad. And on a side note, let's put Jericho back in the main event. This is, toiling around at the big show is all fun and stuff, but let's see him back in the main event. Really not digging him in the tag thing. Anyway, that's my review. I will have one up a couple weeks for bragging rights. Thanks a lot.